Hello everyone, this is ACHA Kaya, and we are looking at another 1v1. This is going to be a Terran versus Zerg matchup, and this map is going to be Delta Quadrant, which is one of the new maps that was released when the game was released, was not available in the beta, so I'm sure still some players getting used to this because of course the strategies develop as the map kind of matures and the people who play on it get used to the different terrain aspects. But anyways, looking at the map right now, it looks like we got Dimaga here spawning up at the 10 o'clock position, and down here at the 7 o'clock position is going to be NTT. NTT playing as the red Terran here, and Dimaga of course going to be the blue Zerg there up at the top. But looking at this map, you can see it's symmetrical of course by the mini-map. In the center we do have one lone Xel'Naga watchtower, which is very easy to get to. It's not on a high ground or anything, just right down in the middle. It is surrounded by some line of sight blockers, so that is definitely something that is worth holding on to. But since it is not a very choked off area, sometimes it can be difficult to hold on to, although sometimes you really don't need to hold it for very long. Just getting it for a second or two allows you to get the intel you need if an enemy army is moving out across the map. And NTT actually putting down a barracks and a supply depot at the same time it is ramp, and of course these ramps not being very big allow you to wall off with just 3 buildings, 2 supply depots, and 1 barracks, or 3 supply depots across this area will take care of that wall off for you, just like many of the other maps that start you off with a ramp at the front entrance. And it looks like Dimaga actually may be going for a fast hatchery here, very quick, before he even has, yes, and there it goes, before he even has his spawning pool up and running. So going for a very economic build right now. And as you can see, he does have 3 more harvesters than the Terran player NTT does, although NTT has already scouted his base and is 100% aware of the fast expand, I'm sure by now, because he saw that there was no spawning pool out in his base. And as you can see, he did scout most of it, although he did not get a full scout on the back of the mineral line, so he may think that there is a spawning pool back there somewhere. And it looks like NTT is actually going to try to block off the ramp here with drones, and these drones trying to get down here and do some damage, although unfortunately he is not able to take it out because there's 1 Marine behind these 2 bunkers which are being built by SCVs here. And of course he is going to try to take out the Overlord out at the front, and I'm guessing Dimaga is going to have to cancel this hatchery, which is very unfortunate for him. Another Marine coming up right now, so he is going to barely, it looks like, get this Overlord away. Only about 56 hit points left. And apparently Dimaga going to let this hatchery go for a little bit longer. I hope that he can cancel it before it finishes, or he's going to lose that very quickly, I think. And it looks like, no, he actually is going, no, okay, he did cancel it. I'm sorry, I thought he was actually going to not remember to do that. But the spawning pool is up and running now. So Dimaga getting some lings out pretty quickly here, and I don't know how easily he's going to be able to break this with just lings, because of course there are some SCVs nearby. Oh, actually he's sending them back to his base now, so these bunkers are going to be have Marines in them, but there's not going to be any SCVs to repair them, so I'm not sure exactly how long he's going to be able to hold this without anything to repair, although it looks like NTT actually passing his Marines through that bunker so that he can try to come and put a little bit of offensive pressure on Dimaga's base. And Dimaga actually going to, it looks like, try to forward that creep so that he can get some spine crawlers and take out these bunkers, although unfortunately that first creep tumor, that's what it's called, geez, I blanked on that name for a second, that first creep tumor was actually taken out. And look at this, Dimaga deciding, hey, if you're not going to let me take my natural, I'm still going to get an expansion up and running. So taking the main base down at the 4 o'clock position here, it looks like, so he is actually not going to be hugely behind what his initial plan was. And if he can actually manage to get up a decent amount of units at this hidden base here, he can actually possibly just do a run by or some kind of a baneling bust on this base, because as long as his base stays hidden, he can actually put hidden tech and everything back there as well. So I'm very interested to see what he decides to do with that. But NTT continuing to stream these Marines up here and just pass them through this bunker so that he can continue to move these Marines forward, and those Marines trying desperately to take out that creep colony before it can actually finish. But it does finish, so, and it looks like there are no more Marines up at the front for NTT, so these bunkers are going to go down relatively quickly here because there are no SCVs to repair and no Marines to defend. So these bunkers are going to go down now. Dimaga will be able to get out of his base, and he is still just putting these creep colonies, I'm sorry, these creep tumors rather, forward and managing to move those spine crawlers up to take a defensive position at the front of his base here. Oh, and it looks like that one Marine managed to scout this Expo. I cannot imagine how frustrating that must be for Dimaga, because that is definitely not a very typical place. But NTT doing his due diligence and just managing to take down, or managing to scout out that base from Dimaga. So I'm sure Dimaga is going to have a very difficult time defending that. His bases right now are on opposite corners of the map, so definitely going to have to keep a very, very mobile force to maintain map control on this. But it looks like there is a planetary fortress now at the Expo, so there are not going to be enough Lings to take that down anytime soon. I can almost guarantee that, because Lings are very, very weak against Planetary Fortress. Although we do have a layer up for Dimaga right now, and he does have his Hydralisk Den up and running. No Hydras on the map as of yet. But if we look at the production menu, we can see he is producing a couple, and he's actually getting another hatchery here at the Expo, his natural expansion, which he initially tried, and looks like he is trying to saturate his expansion here in the 4 o'clock position here, trying to get some drones up and running to make this expansion worthwhile, because I'm sure he is aware that it is going to be very, very difficult to hold on to it. So the sooner he can actually get a hold of this expansion and maintain it, the better off he will be. But it looks like he is actually going to start sending some of his Zerglings back to his base and getting that creep tumor out. I don't know if he's trying to expand creep across this whole map to make it easier to defend or what, but that is definitely not going to be an easy task. And another command center already coming out for NTT. I'm not sure exactly why he decided to try to go to the gold here with this destructible rocks and not take it down. But he is going to produce SCVs and start mining it at least. So we'll see if he's able to get that up and running here somewhat quickly. And actually taking down the destructible rocks at his expansion in the back entrance. One thing about this map that you will notice, aside from the natural out in the front of your base, there's a very easy to defend expansion in the back of your base. There's basically a small ramp going to the back of your base, and there are destructible debris back here that you have to take out. So it's not very viable for a first expansion. But if you can manage to get into the mid to late game, you can definitely take this expansion relatively easily. The only concern is, of course, this high ground. If they can get some sort of offensive ranged units up on this high ground, it can sometimes be very difficult to take out. But anyways, looking back at Dimaga's base, he apparently is like-minded right now, taking out the destructible debris at his own expansion. But of course, for him, the bigger threat is going to be on this cliff as well, especially since the Terran players have siege tanks available to them. And it looks like one Viking out on the map going to do a little bit of harassment for Dimaga's Overlord right there. So it doesn't look like that Overlord is going to last, although the Queen coming over with the Hydralisk, forcing that to back off, and that Overlord only has 9 hit points left. So Dimaga just barely squeezing out that Volt, or managing to kill that Viking quick enough to actually hold that Overlord there. And it looks like that Overlord is going to die if somebody sneezes on it. But anyways, NTT is getting up some SCVs at this high yield expansion, and is still just beating away at that destructible debris, putting down a couple more barracks here, and it looks like he is building a command center. So both players very, very economic-minded game sets right now. And it looks like back in the base of Dimaga, we do have some more tech going down, 2 evolution chambers and an infestor pit as well. And as you can see here, he is getting his hive tech. So we are going to see a very fast teching game right now between these players, along with this economic game here. So a very, very big game. I expect we're going to see a lot of battles here, and that siege tank with just an insane amount of range there is going to beat on that destructible debris way from the cliff up high in his main base. And it looks like there are a couple medevacs right now moving out. It looks like they are going to put pressure on that expansion at the 4 o'clock position here. Those medevacs moving over here, and I don't know if there's going to be enough here to defend for Dimaga. As you can see, he still only has 1 Queen and 1 Hydralisk there, along with that spine crawler, but that spine crawler is really far away. And even if he morphs in as many units as possible at this hatchery, I don't think it's going to be enough to keep this base alive. Oh, and there are tanks in that as well. So Dimaga definitely going to lose this. At this point, he's just going to hightail it out of there and save as many of those drones as he possibly can. Although it looks like a couple still trying to harvest some last-minute gas there from that Expo, and it looks like